God steps down and he has transactions with men that include other men. Are you there? No, I think we need to go back to Isaiah chapter 51 before we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Isaiah chapter 51. It says, hearken unto me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Look unto the rock from whence ye are hewn, and to the hole of the pit from whence ye are digged. He's asking us to trace our foundation. That you did not come out of the air, as the Pentecostal system wants to make us accept, that you just showed up. That you just, oh, yes, I'm an intercontinental ballistic missile that has the capacity to take two nations. That's not how it happens. You will die in transit. Calm down. Sit down. Calm down. Just calm down. And let us show you your foundation. Because for everything you do, you must have a foundation. I went to preach in a nation. The stadium was filled up. And I was told by the organizers that there are like 12,000 people outside of the stadium. Please, if I remember during my administration, let me come down from the podium. Let's go outside and minister to them. So I remember. And we went out. And they started speaking. Plenty of women were speaking their language. So I now asked my interpreter, what are they saying? He said, you will not like what I said, what are they saying? He said, they are raining curses on you. So those ones were witches, offended that people that they cast spells on were delivered. But you know why the curses of the witches did not mean anything to me? I knew my foundation. When you meet with the devil, I did not say if you meet, you will meet. There is a way to survive. He said, look unto Abraham your father. How much of Abraham have you studied? He said, the business that led to your redemption. Redemption began with Abraham. And that's why God asked him to leave his country, leave his kindred, he was setting the stage for redemption. So there was supposed to be a disconnect. There was supposed to be the principle of detachment. Oh, those of you here, you want to fight the witchcraft in your family. You want to disconnect from it. Huh? And you are not courageous enough to establish and to implement the principle of detachment. You lost many good men that way. The guy the family is wealthy. And he knows the source of the wealth. Many skulls are in the showroom. They've traded with human destiny, traded with human blood, traded with human pain, and they have been able to amass influence and wealth. And this young man knows he has a calling in God, but he doesn't want to pay the price of detachment. So he needs the money. Because there's an image of himself he needs to create among the people. Meanwhile, he's saying that he belongs to the kingdom of God. As long as he's still feeding from that breast, he's still very, very accessible. And when a very terrible day comes where they need to balance accounts, and there is need to move 2 male children in the family quickly, to use their blood quickly to balance accounts, he is one of the preferred candidates, because they'll say, even pastor too, we use pastor. Someone was sick the other day. We prayed and prayed. You know, oh my, we prayed. And when I get involved like that, I think I'm a bit strong-willed. I don't know, but you need strong will to pray some prayers. That's what I mean. And we've started with, the person died. And I went back to God and said, okay, now we are no longer saying raise the dead. Just tell me why it didn't work. Say, the person doesn't want detachment. He wants to eat from Satan. And then he's praying in tongues for me to bless him. It means he doesn't have faith in me. So Satan is his God. I learned that lesson long time ago. It doesn't matter how strong the witches are in your family. Detach. And then you will know that they are not that powerful. And so God told him, get thee out of thy country. Get thee out of thy kindred. Oh, you need to follow all the teachings I did those days. On how to fight witchcraft. If witchcraft is rooted in the family, the wisdom that you need to adopt. Don't kill anybody. Don't even pray. Die. No. Don't worry. That one doesn't work. I'm telling you. Because I've tried it. That's what I've tried it. You can't persuade God to kill anybody. I've tried it. So it doesn't work. So what works is that what works is you observe the principle of detachment. Initially, you will suffer. And that suffering is needed to make you rooted. To make you have only one source, one sustainer. It puts you in a situation where you are exposed to God's direct hand or parentage. After a period of time, you will now discover that your disconnection, you didn't have what to wear, you didn't have what to, but you survived though. I assure you, God will ensure that you survive. And when you finish surviving, then he begins to enlarge your course. And he's expecting that you will hold the lessons you learned in the wilderness as a close companion. And that was why I was telling David, remember how I took you from the sheepcote. Because there is a temptation for you to forget, and then you just become like, hey, Arthur. You are. Look to Abraham. Principle of detachment, he followed it. Isolated himself from every human structure. Because when he came out of that nation, he was fatherless, he was clanless, he was countryless, he had no country. He was no longer a citizen of any country. Can you do that? Chinatu. Can you go to the New Yam Festival in your village and tell them that, see, hey, wait, all of you. I'm no longer a member of this family. He detached. He had no support system. He didn't know how food would come. But the Bible never says he died. It was his journey from all of the Chaldees to Canaan that was the secret behind his language. He learned a new language and became a Hebrew. It was that journey that made him a Hebrew. His language evolved from his communion with God. From that day, he was no longer Abraham's son of Terah. Because he was exposed to the direct hand of God's parentage. Terah was deleted from his lexicon. And it was by the hand of God that he became a great nation. If your foundation is rooted in darkness, you will need to do the journeys of Abraham. And the journeys of Abraham are journeys through spiritual pathways. And that's why God did not give him the Google map location of where he was going. He had no sat-nav. He said, you are going to go into the land that I will show you. When I know you need another part of the map, I know how to communicate it. So he had to take his dream seriously, his word of knowledge, his encounters, the prophecy they gave him. Everything could be part of the map. And he did not have the luxury to quarrel with God, because if he quarrels with God, God will forget him in the wilderness. You can quarrel with God. I'm angry with you. I say, that's the kind of Christians we have today. You have not looked unto Abraham yet. You have not stirred up the gene of your ancestors. You are nothing without them. Your context, your ministry, your expression, the grace that will support you was negotiated in the covenant that God gave them. So we have people, I don't want to take you, there are things I can't say. Because you will think, oh no, stop. He said, look unto Abraham, your father, and unto Sarah, that bare you, for I called him alone. No, don't read quickly. You don't think. You left Anambra alone and came to Lagos, and then when they dropped you at the bridge, you raise your bag, and normally that bag is Ghana or Lagos. God has sent me. And 7 years later, you find yourself on the same spot. And you look around, you packed a Benz. In that car was your wife saying, we are getting late, we are getting. She was not there when you cried. 2 children are in that vehicle. From where you were standing by the bridge, you could see your house that you have bought. So what is important? The car? The house? It's the one that sent you. It is possible for you to forget your foundation. So the Jews in those days will never forget the memory. They will die for the memory of their ancestors.